potential $13 billion fortune that seems to have disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah, 13 billion with a B.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
So who are we talking about?
That's the thing. The person at the heart of this is Nicholas Pooch, an heir to the Hermès fortune. You know, Hermès...
The Birkin bag.
Exactly. Those Birkin bags, the silk scarves, the whole luxury empire.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, you've definitely heard of those. And Pooch is a direct descendant of Thierry Hermès, the founder. He's 81 now, and get this, he's the single largest shareholder in the company.
Oh, wow.
The whole Hermès family is worth like $155 billion.
So this is a high-stakes situation for sure.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So Pooch, he initially planned to leave his fortune to his gardener.
His gardener?
Yeah, his gardener. Makes you think, right?
It does, yeah. Why his gardener?
Exactly. But here's where things get even crazier. Pooch now claims that his $13 billion, mostly tied up in those Hermès shares, has vanished. Like it's gone. And he's pointing fingers at his former wealth manager.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, a guy named Eric Freeman. Pooch is saying Freeman committed fraud, and that's how the money disappeared.
So it's a he said kind of thing.
Sort of. But here's another twist. A Swiss court already looked into this, and they rejected Pooch's fraud claims against Freeman.
Oh, wow, really? So what happened?
Well, the court said that Pooch had put what they called blind trust in Freeman.
Blind trust?
Basically gave him free reign over his money.
So Pooch didn't keep an eye on things?
Apparently not. But, and this is important, the court also said that Pooch could have ended that agreement anytime he wanted.
So the court's saying he had some responsibility here, too?
Yeah, it seems like they're saying that even if you trust someone, you can't just completely check out.
That makes sense. You've got to stay informed about your finances, especially with that much money on the line.
Exactly. And there's another detail that I found super interesting. Before this whole gardener thing, Pooch had a different plan for his money.
Oh.
He was going to leave it all to the Isocrates Foundation.
What's that?
It's a nonprofit he started. They focus on public interest journalism.
Wow, that's a pretty big difference from leaving it to a gardener. What do you think changed?
Honestly, I don't know, but it's just another layer to this already complex story.
So what's the takeaway for our listeners here?
Well, the court didn't find any proof of fraud.
So officially, Freeman did nothing wrong.
Right. It shows you how messy things can get with trust and money, especially when we're talking about billions.
Especially billions, yeah.
Yeah.
You've really got to be careful who you trust. And even then, like you were saying before, you can't just blindly hand over control.
Absolutely. This case is like a huge warning sign. It makes you think about the limits of trust, how easily our intentions can change.
And what it all means when it comes to wealth, control, and the legacy we leave behind.
It really makes you think.
It does.
Well, that's our deep dive into the curious case of the vanishing Hermès fortune. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.